Welcome back to the Sound of Ideas from 90.3. I'm Mike McIntyre. The Mass Hysteria Improv Comedy Fest kicked off last year as a festival by women and for everyone. Laughter is universal, but it's true that often the stage is dominated by men, and often festivals are organized by men. Deena Nyer Mendlowitz and Sam Dee saw some value in presenting a festival helmed by women with mainly women performers. Why? Well, as they prepare for the second year of the festival, which runs this Thursday through Saturday at May Halls in Lakewood, they're here in Studio 4 to provide some answers. Good to have you both with us.
Great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Great to be here.
If you got a question, 866-578-0903, and you can send email to soi@wcpn.org. I suppose I could just mansplain some more about this festival.
I would love it.
Would you like that?
Yeah. You know, that's how I start every morning.
Maybe,
So.
maybe instead you guys can tell me, where did this come from? Deena?
Yeah. We were actually looking around, and they're uniquely in Cleveland. There are tons of shows run by women, and we thought, what if we highlight those shows and bring in other people that we want to see perform and bring them to be part of the festival and create a week where women are helming it, where women are the gatekeepers, and where we create, most of all, a safe space, because we truly believe that when you create a safe space, you create a brave space. So for people to take risks in comedy, they need to know that they're protected and that we have their back. And this is a weekend of women feeling that. And that was the whole idea behind it, really.
Sam, the name plays on a word that's often used pejoratively when we talk about women, hysterical.
Yeah.
And you're sort of, I don't know, repossessing that word.
Mm-hmm.
What's the thought behind that?
I think taking back something that's so negative, especially in the history of women, how we used to be diagnosed with hysteria if we stepped out of the normal bounds of what was expected by women, and using it as something to be fun, because things are hysterically funny, and we hope to bring that this weekend to just show that mass hysteria can be a positive thing instead of the normally negative.
Not just a girl thing, though.
No.
There's
not.
There's going to be men and women performing in the fest all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But we really just are highlighting a lot of the women-run shows in Cleveland and our headliners. We have a group from Pittsburgh called Frankly Scarlet. It's an all-women sketch group. And then we have Susan Messing and Dana Carcioli, who are closing out the festival on Saturday. Dana's a Chesterland native who's had huge success in improv, in comedy, and performed with Second City and toured all over. And Susan's kind of... I don't know. To me, the best improviser in the world, and we're lucky to get her in Cleveland.
She's like a professor at all the colleges in Chicago. She teaches everywhere.
She teaches everywhere. She teaches at every
Second
improv
City.
thing. Yeah, she developed the curriculum for one of the levels at IO. She's and she's doing a Q&A on Saturday. So if you're not into somebody who may want to do a workshop, here's a chance to sit and learn as much in a workshop from this Q&A. And she's someone who's done, TED Talks and speaks at colleges, and she's going to really talk to you about comedy and how to feel fearless.
Yeah.
Sam, you're going to have the Improv Deathmatch.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone actually die?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
During
Just want to know what we're getting into.
Yeah, during the Improv Deathmatch, we have an executioner on stage just to, fill the troops with fear before they perform, so they know that they have to do their best, because only one troop can leave the deathmatch.
So the idea with your show is, we talk about improv as opposed to sketch, as opposed to stand-up. This has improv in the name. Is it? So that's its focus, but how much of that is really sort of interlacing with the audience, different from perhaps a monologue stand-up type of thing?
Well, when you give the audience the chance to give the suggestion or the basis of the entire show, that is the point of improv, to show that it isn't a scripted event, and it makes them feel more a part of it. I see improv so much more as a communal effort, because you have to have a group to do improv. You can't really do it by yourself like monologues or stand up. And I
suppose
think
you could.
you could.
Yeah.
It'd be quite difficult. But you just feed off of the energy of both the people with you on stage and the audience. And I had a history in doing stand-up, and I guess that was what I was missing when I was just by myself on stage. And that's what I enjoy about it, that everybody builds the story together.
Deena, you're bringing mental health and friends to the stage.
Mental illness and
mental
friends.
illness
It's
and friends. I'm
okay.
sorry. Well,
it's
mental
okay.
health is
it's both. They're
sort of where it leads
flip
to.
of the same thing. Yeah,
It goes
yeah.
from illness to health.
And Sam's show, people die, and mine's about people surviving. Hopefully, so it's mental illness and friends is my live comedy talk show, all about people who live with mental illness and thrive with it. We have everything from people talking about generalized anxiety disorder to I talk about living with suicidal ideation. But there is this level of bringing humor to it. I begin the show like you would a late night opening monologue, but I'm going to be talking about being in a mental hospital this year and going to the psychiatrist and living with suicidal ideation. So it's where's the humor in all that? And it's that same sort of thing. The audience who comes and sees it is what matters so much, that these people who are willing to share their stories have people who are sitting there who need to hear those stories. And how amazing is that? And then we end with an improv set where we really kind of cap off the whole, we kind of use everything from that evening and do a set based on it.
You and I have known each other for a while. I wrote about you in The Plain Dealer in a column about the time you bought a gun because you wanted to commit suicide. You wanted to kill yourself, and you brought it back.
Yeah.
And you said, I don't want to do this. And I thought to myself, that might be the bravest person I've ever met. And, here you are on stage saying, hey, let's all get together and laugh about mental illness. And when you talked about having a safe space, that to me is what a safe space is. What about other people who might not have the kind of savvy or ability that you have to sort of be out there with it, to talk to a newspaper reporter or get on a radio show, but they can get on stage with you and then suddenly they open up?
Yeah, I think anytime we know this from whatever's going on, we know it from the guests who were just on the show, from the woman who just called in. When people share their story, it gives other people permission to share their story. And in this show, more than any other, I have a responsibility as a host to say, this is a place where we're hearing your story. I never do the show in like a bar where people might just be passing by. I want it to be in a place where people showed up that night to experience a show about people talking about mental health and to honor what's happening on stage. And so if I can do that and someone else can do that, then there's someone in the audience who maybe just, it means they will talk to their spouse that night or they will call a therapist the next day. And if we can do that through comedy, then I'm getting what I want out of comedy.
You can do all that and laugh too?
Of course.
Oh,
yeah. If you can't laugh, this is, as Carrie Fisher said, if my life wasn't funny, it would just be true, and that's unacceptable.
What about the audience, Sam? What about the way they reacted last year? You start this thing, you have no idea if anyone's going to show up. You were in a different venue, a couple of venues actually, Forest City Brewing and out in Slavic Village. And now you're at Mayhall's, which I think it might be a little bit more of a draw just because people certainly know it as an entertainment space.
Yes.
But last year, you're not sure people are going to show up, and they did.
Mm-hmm. In droves.
What did that feel like?
It's always the hope. You work so hard to build a great show and promote it as much as humanly possible and just hope that someone takes a chance on your show. And mostly with comedy, you're excited because some of your friends and coworkers will come. But last year, so many people that I've never met before in my life took a chance on us. And I think it was purely on the basis that they wanted to support a grassroots effort of equality and diversity. And they wanted to see something that they don't normally see in a comedy club.
And they wanted to laugh their butts off.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the point.
Yes,
so that happens again this weekend. We're about to wrap, but Deena, give us the lowdown. Where can people go to find out about it? When's the event happening? It's a 3-day thing, right?
Right. We start Thursday night. All the info is at masshysteriafest.com. We start with Improv Deathmatch on Thursday. Friday night, we have This Improvised Life, which is storytellers and improv mixed together. And we have Frankly Scarlet. Saturday, we have Mental Illness and Friends. And then we close with our headliners. And we'll also be doing a tribute to Nikki Delamotte, who was so supportive of our first festival and supportive of arts. And we'll be making a donation to Lake Erie Inc. in her honor and giving her our Yes Andy Award. Yes Andy Award in memory of Andrew Craze, who was a beloved member of our improv community.
Love that. Yes, Andy. Yes, and being
yes,
the
rule,
improv
cardinal rule of
cardinal
improv.
rule. And Nikki Delamotte, terrific journalist from Cleveland.com.
Yeah.
Appreciate both of you for being here, and see you this weekend.
Thank you so much, Mike.
See you
All
this
right.
weekend.
If you'd like to get the last word on today's topics, there are many ways for you to do it. You can give us a call at 216-916-6397. That's 916-NEWS. Send us an email, soi@wcpn.org. You can find us on Twitter at Sound of Ideas and on Facebook, too. Coming up tomorrow on The Sound of Ideas, we'll have a conversation. We'll have some more conversation. And if you missed any portion of this program, you can hear it again on demand online or by downloading the podcast. You can also hear a rebroadcast tonight at 9 on 90.3 WCPN. I'm Mike McIntyre. Thanks so much for listening. Talk to you again tomorrow.
Today's show is almost over, but the conversation continues all day long. Visit today's show page at ideastream.org/ideasnow. The Sound of Ideas is produced by Rachel Rood and Lee Barr. Our technical producer is Drew Mazius. Multiple media producer Natalia Garcia and associate producer Lisa Ryan are at the controls of our Ohio Channel broadcast. Our managing producer is Amy Cummings, and our host is Mike McIntyre. Thanks for listening.
Support for 90.3 WCPN is provided by Magnificat High School, inspiring young women to become lifelong learners and faith-filled leaders. Magnificat is hosting an open house on Sunday, October 6th from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. More at magnificaths.org. Cleveland Public Library's Writers and Readers series starting September 24th features authors, performers, journalists, and educators in conversation surrounding the books that shaped their lives. Downtown at Main Library, cpl.org. Support for WCPN comes from the Cleveland law firm Walter Haverfield.
You're listening to 90.3 WCPN, Cleveland. Idea Stream.